We continue reading from Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 2, text 35. Bhayadranad uparatam mamshyante tvam maharathaha yesham cha tvam bahumato bhutva yasyasi lagavam. The great generals who have highly esteemed your name and fame will think that you have left the battlefield out of fear only, and thus they will consider you insignificant. Krishna is continuing to encourage Arjuna to fight. Lord Krishna continued to give his verdict to Arjuna. Do not think that the great generals like Duryodhana, Karna, and other contemporaries will think that you have left the battlefield out of compassion for your brothers and grandfather. They will think that you have left out of fear of your life, and thus the high estimation of your personality will go to hell. He's saying people will think, oh, he's a darpok, he got scared and he ran away. Avachya vadamscha bahun vadishyanti tava hitaha nindantas samarthyam tato dukkataram nukim. Your enemies will describe you in many unkind words and scorn your ability. What could be more painful for you? Lord Krishna was astonished in the beginning at Arjuna's uncalled for plea for compassion, and he described his compassion as befitting the non-Aryans. Now, in so many words, he has proved his statements against Arjuna's so-called compassion. So Krishna is saying that your enemies are going to call you names. They are going to, enemies, they are like that. They find any opportunity to speak bad about you. And then what will you do? You will be pained. You will be pained by them. So Krishna is saying all this is going to happen and you will not be able to bear it. And at that time you might take up your sword and fight, You might take up your bow and arrow and fight. Rather you fight now instead of going through all this. So how do we see it? We should not prematurely give up our duties. We should not prematurely think I'm a great renunciate, because to save ourselves from all this. That's what Krishna is saying. He's saying, be in your position and continue to hear and chant. Ato va prapsyasi swargam jitva va bhokshyase mahim tasmad uttishta kaunteya yuddhaya krita nischayaha. O son of Kunti, either you will be killed on the battlefield and attain the heavenly planets, or you will conquer and enjoy the earthly kingdom. Therefore, get up with determination and fight. Even though there was no certainty of victory for Arjuna's side, he still had to fight. For even being killed there, he could be elevated into the heavenly planets. So Krishna is saying, okay, you're fighting either. So if you win, you will get a kingdom. And if you lose, you'll go to the heavenly planet. But do your duty. Don't artificially give up your duty. Don't think you have become a renunciate, that you will be able to live as a renunciate, because your nature is of a Kshatriya. So what is Krishna trying to tell us? The same thing. We might artificially give up things, artificial renounce. But Krishna says no. That's why Lord Caitanya says, stay wherever you are. You just add Krishna to your life. And then gradually, as we were just hearing in Bhagavatam, as our desires keep changing, automatically our activities will change. Things won't affect us that much, So that is the correct way. So is it that, I must continue to live in family life? No. What Krishna is saying, you chant. You do everything from me. Man mana bhava mad bhakto. Become my devotee, offer obeisances to me, worship me. And always think of me. And in that way, we continue to do our duty, whatever it may be. And then Krishna will change our. Then, because in a natural position of life, we go from brahmachari, grihas, vanaprasth, like that. So then Krishna will make the arrangements. Oh, now it's retired life. Okay, so retired life means what? Engage more in hearing and chanting. Engage more in hearing and chanting. Till the time you have your duties, you do your duties. Then you engage more in hearing and chanting. But not that we wait, only after I retire, I'm going to hear and chant. After my duties are finished, I will hear and chant. Those duties will never be finished. So we continue hearing and chanting. Now Caitanya says, don't wait till the end. Chant. They take up this process immediately. Sukha dukkhe samekritva labha jaya tato yuddhaya yujasva naivam papam avapsyasi. Do thou fight for the sake of fighting without considering happiness or distress, loss or gain, victory or defeat, and by so doing you shall never incur sin. So Krishna is saying, how shall one perform their duty? Perform your duty because you ought to do it. You know, we are in society, so we each have a particular part to play. So we do that duty, whatever it is. Don't consider I'll be happy or not. Leave the result to Krishna, loss or gain, victory or defeat. And by doing so, you shall never incur sin. So what is Krishna saying? This is karma yoga. Do your duty without attachment to the result. And without the attachment to the result, what will happen? You're not going to get sinful reactions. This becomes a karma. Because you don't want. It's not that, oh, I'm doing something, and because I'm doing something, oh, I'll be so happy with this. Oh, I'm doing something, I'll be so sad with this. Because when we're working in a detached manner, then we don't want the result for it. So it means we do not need to be around in this material world to experience that result. So the best thing is to work for Krishna. Offer the results to Krishna of whatever.
Then we should say that, if I'm doing something, then I should say that, Krishna, I'm doing it to please you. Is it that what you mean?
And actually do it to please him. Okay. And so that's why we need the guidance of a spiritual master. Because am I actually pleasing Krishna with my activities? We need a spiritual guide. You know, what am I doing? Is it really pleasing to Krishna? Am I pleasing Krishna? That's the role of the spiritual master then, or a spiritual guide. Okay. But yes, in our day-to-day lives, for example, when we are engaging even in our family relationships, Krishna, I'm doing it for your pleasure. I will be friendly, kind to everyone, so I can please you with that. You know, Krishna is pleased to see when we get along with each other. He's happy. All parents like to see that. They don't like to see children quarreling, right? You know, if our children are fighting, we don't like it. We'll say, oh, make it up, you know. They help each other. Come on. We get stressed when the children are fighting with each other. But when they're happy, we feel happy. Oh, so Krishna, for your sake. So we are all children of God. You know, all of us over here. So we make an attempt to be nice to each other. And then we say, Krishna, for your pleasure. It will be pleasing for you if I act in this way. So like that, we can gradually, all our activities, we can do that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Speaking kind words. Yeah, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, no, how one should speak, how one should eat. So that's pleasing to him. Then we act in that way. So then he's pleased. And then the more he's pleased, then the more we'll feel happy. Because we become happy when he's happy. So for the pleasure of Krishna. Did you want to speak about that further, or that's all right?
No, that's okay. Yeah, thank you.
So Lord Krishna now directly says Arjuna should fight for the sake of fighting because he desires the battle. There is no consideration of happiness or distress, profit or loss, victory or defeat in the activities of Krishna consciousness. That everything should be performed for the sake of Krishna is transcendental consciousness. So there is no reaction to material activities. So Krishna is telling Arjuna fight because that's what he wants. That's Krishna's will. So we should also, as we were just speaking, do the activities for the pleasure of Krishna. He who acts for his own sense gratification, either in goodness or in passion, is subject to the reaction, good or bad. But he who has completely surrendered himself in the activities of Krishna consciousness is no longer obliged to anyone, nor is he a debtor to anyone, as one is in the ordinary course of activities. So one who has completely surrendered himself in the activities of Krishna consciousness means he's engaging in devotional service. Devotional service. Anything that I'm doing, let me do for the pleasure of Krishna. And then surrender. What does it mean, surrender? Because we want things to go our way. We do not want to accept Krishna's will. But actually, as we have been hearing in Bhagavatam, what is happening? What is time? Time is Krishna's will. With the time, things are changing. With time, things become manifest, unmanifest, circumstances changes, and then it reveals to us what? Krishna's will. And then when it reveals something which is against our desire, then we become unhappy. So what is surrender? I need to have this humility and this faith that Krishna's will is the best for me. Like, Krishna, you are my best friend. So whatever you are doing for me is the best for me. You know better than me what is good for me. So that is surrender, surrendering to Krishna's will. Understanding that it's the most benevolent will. Otherwise, we think, I know, I can control. I know what Krishna knows. He doesn't know anything. I know what's good for me. But actually, it's Krishna who knows what's good for us. So then, himself in activities of Krishna consciousness. So then this becomes Bhakti Yoga, then activities of Krishna consciousness. Acting for the pleasure of Krishna. So because Krishna is telling Arjuna to fight for Krishna's desire, that is Krishna's desire. So for Arjuna to fight, that is bhakti. Oh, how can killing somebody be bhakti? But that is Krishna's will. So doing something for the will of Krishna, for the pleasure of Krishna, that's bhakti. So we can see how different people, for different things, it is so specific to a person's situation in society. Devarashi Bhutapta Nirnam Pitranam Na Kinkaro Nayam Vinicha Rajan Sarvatmana Yash Sharanam Sharanyam Gato Mukundam Parihritya Kartam. Anyone who has completely surrendered unto Krishna, Mukunda, giving up all other duties, is no longer a debtor, nor is he obliged to anyone, not the demigods, nor the sages, nor the people in general, nor kinsmen, nor humanity, nor forefathers. Bhagavatam 11.5.41. So we are advised, Krishna says, give up all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I will save you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. So we are actually indebted. We are indebted to the demigods. They are providing for us. They are providing the rains, the wind, the sun, the moon, everything. They are providing. They are helping us. The sages, they are giving us guidance. People in general, we are all interdependent on us. We are all interdependent on each other. We are dependent on the animals. We are dependent even on the bacteria which help us to digest our food. So then what is Krishna saying? You just surrender unto me, and all your debts to all the living entities, to everyone, will be paid off. That is the indirect hint given by Krishna to Arjuna in this verse, and the matter will be more clearly explained in the following verses. So Krishna is Arjuna's spiritual master. He's saying, do this. This is going to please me. And this is how you will become successful. Is that okay? Any questions or anything further to clarify?
No, that's okay.
So we'll stop here for today.
Okay.
Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Premanande, Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for joining in today. Sorry once again, I could not join the chanting. I missed you all. And Neha, I'll give you the photo today. Yesterday was a crazy day for me. It was all things back to back. I'll send you the photo.
No problem.
Songbook.
Okay.
The Shikshastakam is
Okay.
there. Nice to be able to see your beautiful face. Thank you for joining in. Thank you, Auntie Rashmi. Thank you, Chandra Lili.
Thank
See
you.
you all tomorrow morning.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Did anyone need anything to discuss or anything? Or we are good? Did anyone want to add anything to what we have been speaking or anything?
No, all good.
All good? Okay, then we'll start here. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.